Okay, I believe we are live. I believe we are live. Really just a test stream, to be quite honest. I'm not really sure how it sounds, what the quality's like. You guys will have to tell me. Anyway, let's get all of this stuff closed in the background. Really not sure how this sounds, so we'll see. Don't know why that's showing like that. Okay. Just played it back. It doesn't sound too bad. Yo, what's up, Swan? How does this sound, by the way? Is it clear or a bit laggy? Not really sure how this sounds. Sounds okay to me, but it's whether it sounds okay to you guys. Okay, it's clear. That's perfect. Just really a quick test, to be quite honest. Just really wanted to get something sorted for when I do stream. And, this could be a good stopgap, I guess, until, we figure out OBS and whatnot. Ultimately, it does the job, ultimately, I guess. That's the main thing. It does the job. I want to see how it looks on my screen, on my YouTube, sorry. Yeah, sounds okay. It sounds okay. Awesome. No, that's cool. It sounds good. I just need to work out how to personalize it and make it a bit prettier, but that can wait until later. Yeah, sorry lads, I'm just kind of testing this stuff out, see how it works. Seems very straightforward in all honesty. So yeah, we'll use this for now, and yeah, we'll go from there. We'll use this. We'll use this a few times, and yeah, it should be okay. 54 Trail Swan, what do you think of Tete? Is he the forgotten man at bantamweight? Yeah, right now it's looking that way. He had a great opportunity in the World Boxing Super Series. Had that potential fight with Nonito Donaire, and he got injured. And right now it's hard to see where he gets his next opportunity because he's not one of those fighters where you're going to rush to fight him. I think a lot of guys will see him as high risk, low reward. But we'll see. I hope Tete gets a big fight soon. You know, I really want to see how good he is. I think Tete can give most guys problems in that division, in all honesty. Yo, EJ Boxing Live. Yeah, man. One of my subscribers mentioned this yesterday to me, and I thought I would give it a go. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. It's easy to use, very simple. Yeah, it's pretty decent. It's pretty good. I need to work out how to like make it a bit prettier, but yeah, it's good for now. Yo, John99 in the chat. What's going on, John? How's it going? We've got a cup of tea. We're on the soft stuff tonight. Jay's Boxing Universe also there. 54 Trail Swan. I heard Daenerys wants to duck Inoue. Really? Oh, I did actually see something along those lines. I did, yeah. I heard it was it money related or something like that? But I hope we see that fight. I really do. I'm sure we will. I'm sure we'll see it. Omnisurge Media, what's going on, man? What's going on? Yo, ABC Def in the chat. What's going on, fam? How you doing? How you doing? 54 Trail Swan. I think Nieri is the most overrated at bantamweight. He knocked out Yamanaka, but Yamanaka gets knocked down in every fight. That's true. Plus, Yamanaka was at the end of his career. And also, you know, you've got to mention the whole drugs scenario where Nieri was positive in the first fight. He popped for a PED. And in the next fight, he failed a drug test. So those wins do have asterisks next to them, to be honest with you. But I do believe he's a dangerous guy. He's a big bantamweight. He brings good pressure, works the body well, and he carries power. But he's certainly vulnerable. He's been dropped a couple of times in his career. And against somebody like Inoue, you know, that's a bit of a it's a recipe for disaster, I guess. Ricardo in the chat. What's going on, Ricardo? How you doing? How you doing, man? Oh yeah, Neri can fight, 100%. He does have his flaws though, especially defensively. He's got his flaws. 54 Trail Swan, who would win? Estrada versus Ancajas? Oh, I've definitely got Estrada in that fight. Ancajas in recent times hasn't really impressed me. I think his last good performance was against Jamie Conlon. You know, he destroyed Jamie Conlon, but after that, he's not been quite as impressive, to be honest. And yeah, I would pick Estrada, maybe even by late stoppage in that fight. I think Estrada's too good. Yeah, ABC, he agrees he's got Estrada. Omnisurge Media, he also agrees he's got Estrada. John99, Amir Khan in his prime was very fast, but do you feel like his speed was a tiny bit overrated? In my opinion, prime Pacquiao and prime Gary Russell Jr. are both faster. I think his speed in his prime was something special, I'll be honest. Mainly his hand speed. His foot speed was quite good as well, but it was his hand speed. I think Gary Russell Jr. has always been faster. And, you know, maybe even prime Manny Pacquiao was a bit faster. I would say Khan was a bit faster than Pacquiao. But, yeah, Khan was up there. I don't think his hand speed was overrated, to be honest. I don't think his hand speed's overrated. ABC Def. Dell, can you tell us some good fights you think could have been scored for either fighters? Like, I got one, Nietes versus Ioka. I thought Nietes edged it, But as you said, you think Ioka won. Yeah, that's a good example, actually. Nietes versus Ioka. That's a very good example. Another fight that I think is a good example is, in particular, the first two Manny Pacquiao versus Juan Manuel Marquez fights. People they made out those fights were robberies in Pacquiao's favor. No, they weren't. That was extremely close. Extremely close. Could have gone either way. And, it's what you like, really. It's what you like. There's loads of fights like that, though. Loads of fights like that. Golovkin Canelo 2, I think, was super close. '54 Trail Swan. Ioka versus Estrada, who wins? Damn. Now, that's a hard fight to predict. That really is a hard fight to predict. It's a very good fight, though. That's an amazing fight. Yeah, that's an amazing fight. I wouldn't like to pick. I would just sit back, chill, and enjoy it. That's a brilliant fight. I might edge towards Estrada, but I wouldn't be confident at all in that prediction. Sorry. Jay's Boxing Universe. Valdez won't fight Stevenson. Yeah, Valdez is moving up. He's going up to super featherweight. Apparently, I've heard a rumor that Valdez wants to fight Estrada. If Valdez fights Estrada, I won't call it a duck. But if Valdez goes up in weight to fight a cream puff, it's not a good look, in my opinion. Stevenson versus Valdez would have been a great fight. Did I just say Estrada? I think I did. But yeah, Stevenson versus Valdez would be a great fight. But if he goes up to fight Burchell, then, I'm not really going to be critical of Valdez. I'm getting my names mixed up, I think. Oh, 54 Trail Swan, indeed. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yafai is definitely the weakest champion at super flyweight. Yeah, ABC Def. I meant Burchell. I meant to say if Valdez moved up and fought Burchell, no problem from me. But if he moves up and fights a cream puff, then yeah, that is a duck, in my opinion. Because like I said earlier, I think Valdez versus Stevenson would be a great fight. Really interesting fight. Stevenson is the more slick, defensively sound fighter. But Valdez is more experienced in the pros. He hits hard, good combination puncher. He's aggressive. He's big for the weight. That's a really good fight. It's a really good fight. Really good fight. Maybe we'll see it down the line. Who knows? ABC Def, Gennady Golovkin won both fights in his opinion. Just because Alvarez came forwards doesn't mean he instantly gets the win. No, I agree. I had Golovkin winning the first fight clearly. Second fight, I had Golovkin winning extremely narrowly. But I can see how Canelo won the second fight. If someone scored it for Canelo, I wouldn't argue. I would argue about the first fight. I felt that was a stonewall robbery. But second fight wasn't that bad to me. Quite close. Yeah, ABC. Valdez versus Burchell would be fun. It would be really fun. I can't lie. Be a barn burner until somebody gets knocked out. '54 Trail Swan. Calya 5 versus Chocolatito in Birmingham. Who would win? Oh, Gonzalez. In my opinion, I would still take Gonzalez to beat Yafai, even now, even in Birmingham. Jay's Boxing Universe. Filip Hrgović is my favourite prospect in boxing right now. Yeah, man, he's up there. He really is up there. He's my favourite heavyweight prospect. 100%. Love his style. Very reminiscent of Vitaly Klitschko, lean back, you know, quick hands, nice reactions, good style to watch. He brings something different to the division these days. It's a totally unique style in the division right now. I certainly like him a lot. Got a cup of tea as well, man. Lovely, beautiful. Never forget, according to Eddie Hearn, Tony Bellew beat an undefeated Ilunga Makabu. Yep. Omnisage Media, Estrada versus Nietes. Who would you pick? I would pick Estrada, but I think Nietes, his style could give Estrada problems. I think Estrada, if you've got a guy who comes onto him, you know, he's going to counter at will and he's going to find the target. But against a guy like Nietes, who can box on the back foot, who can be extremely crafty, I believe that style will give Estrada problems, to be quite honest. Estrada reminds me of Juan Manuel Marquez. And when a guy made Marquez take the lead, he kind of struggled at times. You go back to the Bradley fight, the Mayweather fight, for example. You know, he struggled in these fights when he had to take the lead. I could see the same happening to Estrada, but I would still pick him to beat Nietes, to be honest. I would still pick him to beat Nietes. Interesting fight, though. Interesting fight. The thing that puts me off Nietes is his age. But he's a good boxer. He's a very good boxer. Awkward style, awkward rhythm. Ultratech says Bellew's win against Makabu doesn't get any better, even though, in my opinion, it definitely does. Very good in his record now that we all know he's a top guy in the division. Yeah, no, Makabu's a decent guy. He's a solid contender. He's a solid contender. I mean, ultimately, listen, I'm going to come out and say it. A lot of people don't have much knowledge of the cruiserweight division. It is what it is. I mean, what can we say? Makabu is a good contender. He's dangerous. He hits hard. I do give Bellew credit for that win. I do. I give him credit. I'm not saying it was an all-time great win or anything like that. Just a solid win over a good contender. And listen, he's already knocked out Kudryashov in recent months. If he beats Alexei Papin in Russia, you know, they're two good wins. They're two good wins. So, you know, he's a good fighter. He's a good fighter. Jay's Boxing Universe, could you see Josh Taylor causing problems at 147? He's certainly got the frame for it. He's quite a tall 140-pounder. He's quite big for that weight. I think he'll have some success. Maybe not to the extent he has at 140, but I think he'll be okay. I think he'll be okay. ABC Death, Estrada TKO late. Nietes is looking old, looking for a final payday. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yo, Shepherd of Sons in the chat. What's going on, sir? How are you doing? Testing this new streaming service out. Sounds okay. It sounds okay. So I think this is the foreseeable for now. Ideally, I would like a better solution, but it will do. It will do. Azzy in the chat. What's going on, Azzy? Yep, I agree, ABC, by the way, in regards to Taylor. I agree. Yeah, ABC. If Makabu beats Papin, I'm saying he should fight the Glowatsky or World Boxing Super Series winner. Yeah, I would take that. I would certainly take that. Makabu's he's a decent fighter. He's a decent fighter. Fuck's sake. Jesus. ABC Def, Dave Sweet Hands Allen. Fucking hell. More like sweet hands David Price. What are you saying? Shades of Larry Holmes in that bitch. Popping the jab, moving on the back foot, timing him coming in with that uppercut. My man David Price was looking like bloody Sugar Ray Leonard in there. Jesus. Yo, the Quags is in the building. Shout out to the Quags. Long time supporter. All of you guys are long time supporters, to be fair. The regulars. Box is also here. Shout out to Box. ABC Def. Manos de Pie de la Price, yeah. Fucking hell. I wonder who David Price is going to fight next. I wouldn't be surprised to see Eddie Hearn stick Price in there with Filip Hrgovic, in all honesty. Yeah, Don Hearn, I'm telling you now, yeah, that Fury versus Otto Wallin fight is going to be on BT pay-per-view. Absolutely horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. It's a joke fight for a start, but to put it on pay-per-view is a joke. 2019 for Tyson Fury is basically a write-off. Tom Schwartz and Otto Wallin. Jesus Christ. Poor. Azzy in the chat, he's claiming discrimination. To be fair, Azzy, I offered you the chance of power and responsibility, but you said you couldn't be trusted. You know? So, there we go. There we go. Yeah, ABC, I would watch that. David Price versus Filip Hrgovic. I definitely watch it just for a knockout. Yeah, I agree, Don Hearn. You know, that Fury fight in America, pay-per-view in the UK at 4 a.m. against Otto Wallin, joke business. Azzy. I can't be trusted. I'll time myself out. Pascal beating Brown, in my opinion, is a bigger upset than Ruiz Joshua. It was surprising. Very surprising. I was made up for Jean Pascal. I really was. Jean Pascal is honestly a credit to the sport. Win, lose, or draw, that dude's for everyone. Look at his resume. Hopkins twice, Kovalev twice, Butte, Bivol, Brown, Dawson, Froch, Gonzalez. The dude's resume is tight. The guy fights anyone. I've got a lot of time for Jean Pascal, and I was really pleased for him, in all honesty. I was really, really pleased for him. Oh dear, yeah. So Hangouts is now, that's all now ended. And yeah, well, man, we've got to find new ways of streaming. It's been a right pain in the ass, but this seems like a decent stopgap, I guess. Jay's Boxing Universe. If Yard loses to Kovalev bad, how much shit do you imagine will be coming towards Tunde? Oh, he'll get a lot of criticism, as will Warren, and that whole game plan to match him how they did. But at the same time, if it works out, then they look like geniuses. Time will tell. Time will tell. Do you know what? Obviously, I'm picking Kovalev, but the closer the fight gets, the more I've got this gut feeling that Yard can do something. I don't know why, just a gut feeling I've got. But my official pick is Kovalev. Don't get it twisted. 54 Trail Swan. I saw some Fury fanboys saying fighting Otto Warlin is the same as fighting Ruiz or Rivas. Yeah, man. These dudes are embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. Cult-like behavior. You know? Insane, isn't it? It's insane. Box, what sells more at pay-per-view? Azzy versus ABC or Azzy versus Trans? Oh, definitely Azzy versus Trans. 100%. John 99. No way. Ruiz beating AJ was a much bigger upset. I agree. I think Ruiz beating Joshua was bigger, to be honest. But Pascal beating Brown was a big upset. I was really surprised. To be fair to Unrivaled Boxing Talk and News, he said he fancied Pascal by knockout because of the odds. 18-1, I think. Something like that. Yeah, speaking of Unrivaled Boxing Talk and News, there he is. Azzy, Pascal's resume is as tight as Michelle Joy Phelps behind. Jesus. No, Tommy Tampa, I'm just using StreamYard at the minute. ABC Def. Sorry. No, John 99, he's replying to ABC Def. ABC Def. Imagine thinking after the Hopkins thing, we'd all be so proud of Pascal and to call him a credit to the sport. Great fighter. But don't forget, Bernard, man, you too old. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But Pascal's a warrior. He really is. Pascal is a warrior. Yeah, sorry, I've already read that. Unrivaled Boxing Talking News. Hey, Dell, where did you get the StreamYard idea? Boxing Brains. He mentioned it yesterday. Marcus Brown definitely has a dodgy chin. Dropped 5 times and has fought like 2 decent guys. Yeah, Marcus Brown got dropped by Lenin Castillo and against Kaladzic before the fight with Jean Pascal. ABC Def, Marcus. Yeah, sorry, I've already read that. What am I doing, man? Fucking hell. Seems like it was something he must have heavily researched. Yeah. What are you getting at? This passive aggressive comments, man. Just say it how it is. Say what you think. Come on now. Nah, Boxing Brains in the live chat yesterday mentioned it. And I checked it out this morning. And yeah, it looked okay. It's very easy to use. It's kind of like Hangouts, from what I can see. Sounds a bit clearer as well, from what I hear when I've played it back. So it's a good stopgap for now. 100%. Omnisurge Media, yeah, I totally agree. Tyson Fury versus Charles Martin would have actually been better. Yeah, but it would have been better than fighting Warlin. 100%. At least Martin has a name. You know, he's got a name. He fought quite well against Kalnatsky. If Kovalev wins, he will unify. If Yard wins, he will fight some Arthur Abraham opponent from 10 years ago. Yeah, probably. Yeah, you're probably right, mate. Your chances are you're right. Unrivaled Boxing Talk and News. Drop me a link, Dell. I need to be on episode 1 of StreamYard. I've got no clue how to do it, mate. I'll try and do it in a sec. Jay's Boxing Universe. That's a good shout. Danny Jacobs versus Billy Joe Saunders. Yeah, if Billy Joe signs with Hearn, yeah, makes sense. Good fight. I would love to see that, actually. I think that's a really good fight. ABC Def. Kovalev will have his career ended brutally by Beterbiev or Vodzik. It could happen. It could happen. Or B-roll. Any one of those guys right now, I would make favourites over Kovalev. Obviously, Kovalev is getting old, as we know, but outside the ring, this guy is being a little bit naughty in recent times. You know, he's getting his Marcus Brown on, apparently, allegedly, smacking up hoes and, you know, doing things like that. So we'll see. We'll see. 1 second, unrivaled. Invite. Okie dokie spokey. Yo, what the fuck do we do here? One second, unrivaled. I think I've got your email. I'll drop you an email. Yo, Boundless Boxing Talk in the chat. Shout out. Shout out. Oh, yeah, ABC Def. Yeah, Kalnatsky versus Areola. Really fun fight. Thoroughly enjoyed it. And I've got to say, it was much more competitive than I anticipated. I expected Areola to have some success in the first couple of rounds when he was fresh, but I felt Kalnatsky would be too much for him at this stage. But to his credit, you know, Areola really came to fight. He really came to fight. So fair play to him. Fair play to him. Boundless Boxing Talk, he says Kovalev ain't doing shit. Yeah, I mean, against the other champions right now, I would pick those guys. I would pick Vodzik, Beterbiev, and Bivol. I'm not counting Kovalev out, but like I said, there's a few things to consider now when you talk about Kovalev fights. You've got to take into account his age and also what's going on outside the ring. You've got to take that into account. Oh, Quags, 100%, mate. Sometimes, you know, these hoes need to be put in their place. So, you know, it is what it is. Happens to the best of us, you know. 54 Trail Swan. Bivol should not move down. It's always trouble when somebody moves down in weight. Yeah, I agree. I would like to see Bivol stay at 175. Speaking of 175, who should Pascal fight next? What about Pascal versus... who shall Pascal fight? Pascal versus Badu Jack? I think that's a decent fight. But I think what will happen is they're going to go for the rematch with Marcus Brown. That will be the fight they're going to make, sorry. Azzy, he says Kalnatsky gassed out badly at the end of his fights with Martin and Areola. Yeah, he did. He did. He slowed down in both fights. Oh, Boundless Boxing Talk, you said he ain't done shit to women. Yeah, maybe, man. I've got no clue. Ultimately, listen, man, I've upset a few people with this in the past. Whatever these fighters do outside the ring is secondary to me. As long as these guys are fighting people, I don't really care, in all honesty. Make of that what you will. I don't really care. but there we go. There we go. Shepherd of Suns, that's a good shout. Bramer had no trouble when he moved down to 168. Yeah, he looked better, in fact. He looked better. 54 Trail Swan. Kovalev could beat Vodzik. Oh, he could beat him. He could beat him, but I think I would favour Vodzik. Box, that's a really good shout. Pascal versus Gilberto Ramirez. Really good shout. Yeah, that's a good fight as well. I believe Gilberto Ramirez is going to do better. He's going to do better at 175 than people expect. I really believe he'll do well. He's a big dude, man. He was big against Carpensi. He was massive. He's a big guy. He'll be fine. At 175, he'll be fine. That's a good example, John 99. When Chad Dawson moved down to 168 to fight Ward, his punch resistance went down. So it's not usually a good idea to move down in weight. Yeah, it can have a negative effect. One thing about Bivol, he's not the biggest light heavyweight, it's got to be said. He's not a massive light heavyweight. So maybe 168 wouldn't be a stretch. Maybe he could do it. I mean, ultimately, if he wants to, it's his choice. But I think the fights are there for him at 175. I don't really believe there's any need for him to go down to 168, to be honest. Yeah, Copendo 9 basically said the same thing. Nobody's forcing Bivol to move down. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Pascal versus Alvarez 2, 54 Trail Swan. That's a good fight. That's a good fight. No worries, Unrivaled. No worries. Box in the chat, Jesus. 54 Trail Swan, another one. Elidia Alvarez versus Zerdo Ramirez. Yeah, that fight would tell us all we need to know about Ramirez at 175. Would be a really good fight. Very good fight. Omnisurge Media, I've not heard anything, any more news on that fight. Vodcik versus Beterbiev. There's been no official confirmation, from what I can understand. A little bit worried. Little bit worried. They need to get that fight signed. Honestly, that's a brilliant fight. They need to get that fight signed. You know what? You can share screens with this thing as well. Just realised. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, man. I'll need to work out what to do with this shit. Madness. Madness. But yeah, man, this weekend, I'll tell you what, that PBC card was surprisingly good. I really enjoyed it. Going into it, I really wasn't looking forward to it. I felt on paper it looked fairly average, but man, I really enjoyed that card. I really enjoyed it. The main event was great. The Pascal Brown fight was great. And obviously also Curtis Stevens getting knocked out by Wale Omatuso. You know, that was entertaining while it lasted. Really good card. I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. Mr. Mabu97, what's going on, sir? Hey, Dell, first time in the chat. Just wondering if you think Conlon has quality to be world champion. I'll be completely honest. I'm not the biggest fan of Michael Conlon. I believe he's one of those fighters where obviously he was a world-class amateur. He was a brilliant amateur, but I'm not sure whether his style translates to the pros, to be honest with you. I mean, if you look at the champions right now, Leo Santa Cruz, Oscar Valdez, I know Valdez is moving up, but Oscar Valdez, Gary Russell Jr., Josh Warrington, I'm not sure whether this guy has what it takes to keep these guys honest. I'm not sure he's got what it takes. Low output. His power seems to be, average at best. I'm not a fan of Conlon. I'm not. I don't think he'll go. I would say European level he'll get to, certainly. Maybe fringe world level. But above that, I think he'll really struggle. I think he'll really struggle. For such a hyped guy, you do expect a bit more from Conlon. It has to be said. You expect a bit more. I think if you look at the champions, the best chance he would have would be against Warrington. because of his awkward nature. Conlon is awkward, and we saw Galahad offset Warrington with his awkward style, but Galahad had a bit of pop on his punches. Conlon doesn't. And I actually think Galahad is more awkward than Conlon, in all honesty. So I still think Warrington would beat Conlon. Jay's Boxing Universe. What the hell has Santa Cruz been doing these days? The guy has really fallen off for me. Yeah, I totally agree. I'm actually a big admirer of Leo Santa Cruz. I love his style of fighting. I think he's an underrated boxer. And, he proved that against Carl Frampton in the rematch. But first and foremost, he doesn't fight enough. And secondly, he doesn't fight anybody. Very rarely does he take big fights. And it's unfortunate because I think he's a really good talent. He's a really good fighter. And he should be doing a lot better. In yesteryear, we would have got Leo Santa Cruz versus Oscar Valdez and fights like that. But in today's era, these guys are not willing to risk it. They're not willing to risk it. The promoters also are to blame. I mean, featherweight is such a disappointing division. It's got so much potential, but it's not delivering. Yeah, Mr. Nabu, I agree. He hasn't got the power to keep the top guys honest. I totally agree. John 99, again, I agree. Shakur Stevenson, yeah, he's definitely a better prospect than Conlon. Sharper, hits harder, seems to have more upside. And Shakur Stevenson, since his pro debut, has progressed quite rapidly, in my opinion. In the first couple of fights for Shakur Stevenson, he looked a little iffy to me, but ever since then, he's really been improving rapidly. So, yeah, I think Shakur is a much better prospect. That's just my opinion, of course. I rate Stevenson. The only thing with Stevenson is obviously he got caught, being an idiot on camera. That's all I'll say. He needs to leave that alone. Concentrate on your boxing. I know he looks up to the likes of Andre Ward and Terence Crawford. These guys pretty much kept themselves out of trouble. That's what he needs to be doing. Concentrate on boxing. And if he does, I think he can go a long way. I really do. Minimax Boxing, shout out to Minimax. Joe Calzaghe versus Carl Frampton. Sorry, Carl Frampton? I was just talking about Carl Frampton. Joe Calzaghe versus Carl Froch, both in their primes. Who wins? I would say Joe Calzaghe, to be quite honest. Too much volume, too much movement. The thing is with Calzaghe, the guy could do pretty much everything. He could bang on the inside. He could move around you. He had great feet, great hand speed. He can actually box on the outside when he wanted to. He could brawl. He could do pretty much everything. He's more versatile than Carl Froch. And yeah, I believe he would outpoint Carl Froch. Quicker feet, quicker hands. I believe he would outpoint Carl Froch. I think Froch would have success, and I wouldn't even be surprised to see Joe Calzaghe get dropped early, because Calzaghe had a habit of getting dropped early in certain fights. I think in all of his fights, he got dropped in the first 4 rounds. He never got dropped after 4 rounds. I could see Froch dropping him early, but apart from that, I think Calzaghe would outbox him, outpoint him. UD. Yeah, I agree, Minimax. UD for Calzaghe. Azzy. Shakur's left hook on that girl was a thing of beauty. Talent is there. Jesus. Madness. Jay's Boxing Universe. I'm really thinking Comey will whoop Teofimo Lopez when that fight comes around. I agree. And listen, after that fight with Nakatani, that dude is doubting himself. He really is. If you look at his social media, cryptic tweets about retirement, saying he's may not be ready for a world title, things like that. Listen, Comey is a tough dude. Comey's a tough dude, and he could out tough Teofimo Lopez. He's a big guy. He can punch. He's experienced. Comey's a very good fighter, in my opinion. He's dangerous. EJ Boxing Live. Stevenson's a crybaby. Yeah, he is. He is. He is. But I think he's a really good fighter. I think he's a good talent. He can go a long way, in my opinion. Yeah, he's okay, man. I think he's good. I think he's good. EJ again, he says Conlan's middle finger is what he's known for. Good amateur. Yeah, that's it. That's it. I mean, basically, that's how he got a big contract. That image of him, flipping the judges off was one of the most viewed images from that Olympic Games. And yeah, he's basically his whole reputation is based off his amateur background. As a pro, I'm not really convinced, in all honesty. I'm not really convinced. Copendo 9, Calzaghe got dropped by straight punches only. Froch, not a straight puncher. Easy work for Joe, in my opinion, or in his opinion. Yeah, I know what you mean. I do think Kyle Froch had a nice straight right hand at times. I believe Froch would make it tough, but Calzaghe would have too much. Too much volume, too much speed. Calzaghe on points for me. Good fight, though. Good fight. Yeah, EJ, one of my subs hooked me up with this app, and I saw McGregor using it today or yesterday, one of the two. I think it was today, and it looked quite good. It looked quite good, and it's super easy to use. Super easy to use. Yeah, EJ, that's what I'm thinking as well. How on earth do you get pictures on it? Because it looks a bit dull right now. I'm sure we'll work it out. I'm sure we're going to work it out. M-Star 011. Joe would have schooled Froch 12-round decision. I think he would have certainly beaten him. Schooled, not so sure, to be quite honest. It's not like Joe Calzaghe didn't have hard fights. I think Froch wouldn't get schooled, but I believe he would get beaten fairly clearly in a competitive fight. Mr. Mabu 97, Dell Callum Smith versus Billy Joe Saunders. Who wins? I would pick Callum Smith. I think he's too big. To me, Billy Joe doesn't belong at 168. I felt against Isafi, Billy Joe looked a bit more sluggish, didn't look quite as dynamic, got hurt in that fight as well. I don't believe Billy Joe belongs at 168, in all honesty. I think he's a bit too small for the likes of Callum Smith, David Benavidez, people like that. I think he's too small. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think Smith's too big. Yeah. But now, man, this streaming software is quite decent. I quite like it, EJ. It's basically like Hangouts, but I think you can only get 6 people on from what I can see. Hangouts, you could have more people, but it's okay, man. It's pretty decent. It's pretty decent. John 99, Billy Joe Saunders isn't even big at 160. If he was a lot more disciplined, he could possibly make 154. Yeah, he's not a big dude. He wasn't a massive middleweight. I felt he was a fair-sized middleweight, but maybe he could make 154. I'll be honest, I think that would be a struggle. I honestly believe he belongs at 160. 160 should be his division. I would love to see Billy Joe Saunders versus Jamal Charlo at 160. I think that would be a great fight. Stylistically, I think Billy Joe would give Jamal Charlo a lot of problems. Southpaw, boxer, good mover. We saw Jamal Charlo struggle with Korobov. So from that basis, I think Billy Joe would have a lot of success against Charlo, but Charlo can punch. So there's that level of intrigue there. I think that's a good fight at 160. Billy Joe versus Jamal Charlo, make it happen. Jay's Boxing Universe, Crawford needs to ditch Top Rank ASAP. I don't think he realizes. Man, it's hard. It's hard because, Top Rank, I know, pay Crawford well. He seems very loyal to them. I mean, in reality, it shouldn't really have to come to that. These guys should be more willing to work together. But unfortunately, they're not. Unfortunately, they're not. And I've heard rumours that Crawford could consider going to 154 to try and get fights there. I mean, that goes to show, I think Crawford wants the fights, as far as I'm concerned. But he's not getting them right now. He's not getting them right now. Minimax Boxing, J-Rock or Jamel Charlo? I'd pick J-Rock by decision. I certainly believe J-Rock's a better, more technical fighter. I do. Obviously, I think Jamel Charlo would have a puncher's chance. I don't think Julian Williams' chin is the best, in all honesty. So I would say I would favour Julian Williams, but I wouldn't be confident in that pick. Really good fight though. I really like J-Rock as well. Classy dude. Classy dude. And his fight with Jarrett Hurd, man, beautiful fight to watch. Yeah, I agree, Quags. J-Rock, yeah, he's got better skills. He's got better skills, 100%. Yeah, Copend09, he's agreeing with John 99. He's been saying that for the longest. Billy Joe should have been a career 154 and only moving up to 160 now. He fought at welterweight in the 2008 Olympics. Yeah, that's true. That is true. Yeah, M star 011. Yeah, Crawford's got a big guarantee with Top Rank. He gets paid well. They look after Terence Crawford, 100%. Minimax Boxing, he says Bud can't go to 154. The whole division is PBC. He's got a better chance of moving down to 140. I mentioned that on a previous stream. Terence Crawford may be going back down to 140. Maybe fighting the winner of the World Boxing Super Series, particularly if it's Josh Taylor. But at 154, who could Terence Crawford fight? Maybe Munguia? Maybe. Other than that, he's struggling at 154 as well. It's a shame. It's a shame because Crawford, listen, people can question his resume, Terence Crawford. People can argue about how good it is. That's fair enough. People can think Crawford is overrated. Fair enough. But one thing I won't say, I honestly believe Crawford wants these fights. I truly do. I think he wants these fights with Spence, Porter, Garcia, all of these guys. But he's being frozen out. As far as I'm concerned, he's been frozen out. And for the record, I believe Errol Spence would beat Terence Crawford, but it's not Terence Crawford stopping the fight from happening. What I think about that fight, who I think is going to win, is irrelevant. One party stopping it from happening, and it's not Crawford. So, yeah, it's a shame. It really is a shame. Mr. Mabu 97, Briadis versus Dorticos. Oh, I would take Briadis. Against a come-forward fighter like Dorticos, you would imagine his counter-punching and power would see him through. But I would like to be wrong. I didn't really like how Briadis won his last fight. and the fight before that against Gevil was a robbery. So I think Briedis in this World Boxing Super Series has been very fortunate. So I would like to see Dorticos win it, but I think Briedis beats him. Sorry, I really do. I really rate Briedis, and I was on the train before most heard of him, but his last couple of fights have been turn-offs, I can't lie. I think he's a really good fighter, but yeah, I would like to see Dorticos do it. Azzy, Saunders is Fury's cousin, same genes, he's fat. He's a fat, lazy man. M-Star Crawford said 2 months ago he can't make 140, maybe catch weight, but not 140 straight. Yeah, you're probably right. He's a big dude. He's a big dude. I've got no idea, CJW, when his contract ends. I think he recently signed a new contract with Top Rank. Yeah, the Quags. Yeah, he signed a year ago. Okay. M-Star 101. Sorry, why do I always say 101? M-Star 011. Crawford gets paid too good to leave right now. It's legacy or money. I can see that, but I think it's dangerous saying fighters should sign to a certain promoter to get a fight. I think that's very dangerous. I think that sets a dangerous precedent, to be honest with you. These guys should work together, as far as I'm concerned. They should work together. Some way, somehow, get it done. I mean, it's not like either guy is a massive moneymaker. It's not like either guy does a million homes in pay-per-view every fight. But yeah, it is what it is, man. Yeah, Ben, I agree. Briedis is too strong and too dirty for Dorticos. He's got a higher output too. Yeah, he's certainly more precise with his counters, and I think he'll walk Dorticos onto big shots. I think he'll use Dorticos' aggression against him, to be honest with you. Yeah, I agree, Mr. Mabu. I agree. CJW, Briedis stoppage by spinning reverse elbow. Yeah. Oh yeah, Cop and I agree. That Crawford Aram contract, yeah, that's going to be watertight. Watertight. Why does everybody think Callum Smith is this killer and most avoided at 168? He had a one-armed Groves and now he's this killer. I don't think he's a killer, but like every 168 pounder, he's unproven, and it's ultimately guesswork right now. Benavidez has fought absolutely nobody. Billy Joe Saunders he's not a 168 pounder. Caleb Plant looks quite good, but again, he's fought one guy in Uzkatigi. It's open right now. It's all guesswork. I don't see how anybody can call any of these guys the number one guy in that weight class. All of these guys are fairly unproven. All of these guys, at best, have one good win. They need to fight each other. Plant versus Smith, Billy Joe versus Smith, Benavidez versus Plant. These are the fights that need to happen. We've got a visitor here. Unrivaled Boxing Talking News. What's going on, man?
Hey. What up? Huh?
It's quite clear.
Bro, I've already used it like 5 times and I've helped Johnny through and I'm just after teaching Beats how to use it. That's why I didn't jump on.
Nah, it's good, man. I like it. It's fucking good.
Teach everybody, man. Help everybody. Like, it's really straightforward if you know what you're doing.
Yeah. Need to work out how to put like pictures in the background and shit like that, but
yeah, but you'll figure that out. You're the smart boy.
Well. CJW, Benavidez would smash Callum Smith up. I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I think that's a tough one to predict, in my opinion.
Callum Smith's a fucking cruiserweight.
He's a big lump. Benavides is a big lump as well, though, to be fair. He's a big old boy.
Yeah, but he seems way more anorexic than Smith. Yo, guys, smash the like button for Dell.
Ah, thank
But,
you.
yeah, I got you. You're too ashamed to beg for likes, I'm not.
It's a good fight, though. But 168, man, like, there's some sick fights to make.
Uh-huh.
None of these are happening right now. It's like we mentioned it the other stream the other day. We went through the divisions. Again, a division with potential, but nothing's happening.
Yeah. Also, by the way, just to give you an idea, you know the StreamYard thing?
Yeah.
Like the link, you can put that in your chat if you want to, like whenever if you want to get someone on, because nobody can join without your permission.
Oh yeah, I've got to invite him in. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So it doesn't matter, pretty much.
That's sick.
Just yeah, so you don't need to do the whole email thing and make me go through fucking jump through hoops just to fucking get into a stream.
I like it though. This was really just a test
It's
stream,
really
but
clear, it's relaxed, it's simple. I like it, man.
it is basically Hangouts. In all honesty,
I think it's better.
yeah. No, I agree, man. I like it from what I've seen so far, man. I like it. I like it. Yo, MB's in the chat. Shout out to MB. Corey Lee Boxing as well. Shout out to Corey Lee. And by the way, in the chat, check out Corey Lee and Minimax Boxing. Both guys have got channels. Excellent stuff. Give those guys a like. Drop them a sub. Awesome stuff, man. Awesome
It's ice
stuff.
season.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, yo, I'm gonna jump off because I don't really have a lot of time. But I want to ask you one question myself. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
What chance do you give Jonathan Gonzalez in a couple of weeks against Kosoi?
Tanaka, sorry. Did you say?
Yeah, Kosoi Tanaka.
Is Jonathan Gonzalez? Is he the dude who is he like is he Dominican or something? That dude.
Think so, yeah.
I think I've only seen him fight like once. I'm gonna go Tanaka.
Yeah, but what chance do you give Gonzalez? Like, do you see it being a competitive fight?
I need to check. Is it the
He's Puerto
Gonzalez who
Rican.
fought?
He's a Puerto Rican southpaw.
Hang on, there's two guys called Jonathan Gonzalez.
I'll tell you how you might remember him. He got a decent win a while ago against Julian Yadres.
No, I was thinking of somebody else.
Yeah, it's a different guy. He's a southpaw.
I need to check him out, mate. I need to check him out. What do you think?
Honestly, he got knocked out by Yobert Alvarez, so I mean,
Not much.
yeah, like I like Yobert, like Filipino kid, himself. Like I remember he got beat by Miguel Cartagena, and he also got beat by Estrada. But those are the only two people who've actually beaten Yobert, so he's not bad. I just think Tanaka should be a few levels too high. I just wanted your thoughts on it. Because like
Yeah,
you like Asians, so go do.
I need to check him out, man. Do you know who I was thinking of? I was thinking of someone
Johnny
completely.
Gonzalez.
No, I was thinking of a dude called Jonathan Guzman.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why that name was in my mind, but I was thinking of that dude. So that guy can't make fucking that weight. The guy was fighting at like bantamweight or super bantamweight. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, yeah, that's why I was like, fuck, who are you talking about? But yeah, I'll need to check the dude out. In all honesty, I'll need to check him out.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna jump off. Enjoy the rest of your stream.
Yeah,
Shout out to everybody in the chat. Hit the like button for Dell. First stream on StreamYard. Peace, lads.
Peace. Yeah, I'm gonna end this in a bit anyway. No worries, Minimax. By the way, no worries.
Phelps.
Manjoy Phelps. Jesus Christ. Copindo9, what is Andrew Selby up to? Well, I heard he was supposed to fight Jay Harris in September or October. That's what I heard. Andrew Selby versus Jay Harris, which is a good fight. I mean, it was scheduled on BoxRec. Let me have a look. Jay Harris. Yeah, Cop End '09, 21st of September. Andrew Selby versus Jay Harris, British flyweight title. That's a really good fight. That's a really good fight. I like that fight a lot. Cop End '09. Chances of Oscar going back to rehab when Canelo and King Rai leave him. Beautiful stuff. I hope both guys leave him and leave this guy in the dust. I can't stand Oscar De La Hoya. Cannot stand him. Cannot stand him. Ben Haynes, Andy Lee is too biased towards Billy Joe Saunders. I think that's because he beat him. And by Andy Lee praising Billy Joe, it makes him look a bit better, I guess. You know, if Billy Joe goes on to get big wins, it makes Andy look better. So it is in his interest to praise Billy Joe Saunders, in all honesty. It is. Thank you, Unrivaled. Josh Taylor versus Regis Prograis, Dell. Man, that fight is so hard to predict. That's a hard fight to predict. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I do need time to really think about it and come up with a final pick. But let's say some crazy dude broke into my house, put a gun to my head, and said, "Pick the winner of this fight," and I had to pick on the spot right now. I think I would go Prograis. I think I would go Prograis. If I had a gun to my head and I had to get it right, I think I would go Prograis, honestly. But I do need to look at both guys, really assess it, and I will make a final pick. But yeah, I'm 51% towards Prograis right now. Super good fight though. That's one of the best fights of the year. That's one of the best fights of the year. Joe Blow, Taylor's the better boxer. I don't know whether he's a better boxer. I don't know whether he's a better boxer. Prograis is quite versatile. I've seen the dude fight on the front foot. He can fight on the back foot. He can counter. You know, he can trade. He can be fairly defensive at times. He does everything quite well. Taylor himself, of course, is a good boxer. It's a great fight. It's a great fight. It's one of those fights where the loser, for me, still a world-class fighter. They can go on to do great things, and the winner, you know, just got a great win. It is what it is. You know, these are the fights we live for as boxing fans. These are the fights that get us excited about the sport. It's a brilliant fight. It really is. Yeah, M-Star 011. Taylor is a bit hot and cold, and the thing that could let Taylor down is his discipline. And what I mean by that is, I'm not saying the guy's a fouler or he doesn't live a life. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is when the dude gets hit, when he gets tagged up, he can be drawn into a fight. And against someone like Prograis, that could be to his detriment, to be honest with you. You know, he lets his heart rule his head at times, Josh Taylor. He sees red far too often. And I don't believe that's the wrong idea to go in there with against Prograis, sorry. It's a great fight, though. It's a great fight. Jazz 11, Kovalev being drunk on a plane 1 month out has got me changing my pick to Yard. Heard Yard has a glass chin from sparring stories, but I just can't see. I can see Yard getting close to Kovalev and hitting him to the body. Yeah, I'm still picking Kovalev. I mentioned it earlier in the stream. The stories around Kovalev have got me second guessing. I can't lie, but skill for skill, talent for talent, I've got to go with Kovalev. More experienced as well. I've got to go with Kovalev. Coppin 09, yeah. Dennis McCann looks a very good prospect. Very good prospect. Yeah, M-Star 011. And also, Postal not only troubled him on the outside with his jab, but even on the inside, Postal had success up close. He had a lot of success up close. It's a beautiful fight, man. It's a beautiful fight. I wouldn't be surprised either way. I really wouldn't be surprised either way. Close decision either way. Somebody knocks somebody out. There wouldn't really be any outcome in that fight that would surprise me. For quags, I go around now throwing money at women at random. Yeah, yeah. That I'll be honest with you. I was reading the story, and when I heard he threw money at the woman, I bust out laughing. I know it's bad, but I don't know why. It's made me laugh. It's crazy, crazy. AA Boxing and Blunts, what's going on, sir? How you doing? Who's Billy Joe Saunders joining? I'm going to say Golden Boy Promotions are favourites now. Yeah, I heard. I think Warren. Yeah, Frank Warren. He said that Golden Boy tried to co-promote Billy Joe Saunders, so maybe they're still sniffing around. I think in terms of options, I guess DAZN and Eddie Hearn make a lot of sense. There's a lot of options over that side. So yeah, I would say Eddie Hearn, to be honest. Apparently, Michael Coppinger, he said that Billy Joe was in discussions with Eddie Hearn. Whether you believe Michael Coppinger or not is for another day. But I mean, Billy Joe right now, he needs to go where the options are. He needs to go where the options are. But I am intrigued, though, in regards to Billy Joe Saunders' future and his next move. I'm intrigued. I think he needed it, in all honesty. Not that Warren did a bad job. I think Warren did a very good job with Billy Joe Saunders. A lot of Billy Joe Saunders' problems came from himself, basically. You know, not living the life, being ill-disciplined, the drug scandal. A lot of the issues were down to him. Warren did the best he could. He basically had him from the start. Sorry. He had him from the start, you know, area, British, Commonwealth, European champion, two-weight world champion. Warren did all he could, but Billy Joe never really lived up to his end of the bargain, in my opinion. And, you know, maybe a fresh start is a good idea, a change of scenery. Maybe it's a good idea. Maybe it's a good idea. Oh yeah, Shah, I agree, man. I did not expect him to leave Warren. I really did not expect it. I was surprised as hell when I saw that news. AA Boxing and Blunts. Okay, MTK pick his promoter. They are teamed up with Top Rank, but I've heard MTK will opt for Golden Boy. Strange one. I guess, you know, Golden Boy equals the Canelo fight. I can see why. And I guess even with Golden Boy, Billy Joe Saunders could still fight the Matchroom guys on DAZN. You know, Billy Joe could still fight Andrade, or he could still fight Siletsky or Golovkin on DAZN. You know, these fights are still there for him, regardless if he signs with Golden Boy or not, because DAZN will make these fights happen. You know, or they'll try and force these fights to happen at the very least. So I guess Golden Boy makes sense. I wouldn't be mad at it. Shah Islam, who the fuck is Ebenezer Tete? Indeed, I said the exact same thing. Listen, I'm hoping we are pleasantly surprised and Tete turns out to be a good fighter like Richard Lartey was, but I've got my doubts. I cannot lie. I really do have my doubts. His resume is atrocious. He's beat nobody, and there's very little footage of him online. So I doubt he'll be much good, but he could be a surprise like Latte. You never know. You never know. I hope he's half decent. Minimax Boxing, Jojo Diaz versus Tevin Farmer. Very good fight. I think that's the type of fight Tevin Farmer needs next. Who wins? I'll be honest, I've never been sold on Tevin Farmer. I might even make Jojo Diaz a slight favourite, to be quite honest. Jojo Diaz was competitive with Gary Russell Jr. I know that was in the weight class below, but I think Jojo's a good fighter. I really do. I think he could beat Tevin Farmer. CJW, new Ty and Booth video uploaded a few minutes ago. Well, I know what I'm doing when I switch this off. I know what I'm doing. The Quags. Billy Joe Saunders is one of the biggest bullshitters in boxing. I don't care what he says or does. He's all talk, and his style isn't very interesting for me. Yeah, I mean, the dude, listen, man, he's always been that way inclined, and I've got my doubts, in all honesty, but I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I do believe they tried to make the Callum Smith fight. He wanted that fight. Callum Smith turned it down. I'll give him another chance. You know, it looks like he wants the big fights finally. We'll see what happens, but I'm not holding my breath, you know. M-Star, Golden Boy Promotions have no say with who Canelo fights. Canelo decides only. He says many times nobody tells him to fight. That is true, but with DAZN in the picture, these guys seem to be applying a lot of pressure on Canelo right now. They seem to be making it really hard for Canelo. They seem to be really applying pressure. Oh yeah, man, Latte came to fight. He really did. Yeah, he definitely beat Tom Little and guys like Sexton and Dave Allen. Yeah, 100%. He came in there, gave it a right good go, caught Dubois with some good shots. Yo, I would love to see Latte versus David Price. That'd be sick. That'd be funny as hell. Someone's getting knocked clean out in that fight. Somebody's getting knocked out. Mr. Mabu, Andrade versus Jamal Charlo. You've got Andrade. I think I agree, to be quite honest. I think Andrade's style will give Jamal Charlo fits. I really do. The movement, the southpaw stance, the switch hitting, the awkward style. Yeah, I believe it would give Jamal Charlo fits. Jamal Charlo is actually quite straight up and down, to be honest. Jab, right hand, left hook, not really much else. He's quite basic in all honesty, sorry. He's quite basic. Yo, Triple J in the chat. What's going on, sir? How you doing? CJW. Yeah. Latte versus Otto Warlin. Good fight, indeed. Copendo 9. DAZN have themselves to blame. They should have put it in Canelo's contract who he should fight. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, they are applying pressure on Canelo. That much has to be said. M-Star 011. Andrade is one of the most skillful boxers in the US. There's a reason people don't call him out. Jacobs said he was the hardest sparring he's ever had. I think Andrade is very awkward. I think he's very awkward. He's a tough proposition for anybody. He really is. The thing I don't like about Andrade is his punch technique. At times, he slaps a lot. That's the thing I don't like about him. But in terms of movement and defense and being awkward, he's very tricky. He really is. Shah Islam, Dell, I'm thinking of starting a YouTube channel. Want to focus on heavyweight, cruiserweight, and light heavyweight. Don't have time to cover all of the weight classes. Any advice? Bruv, just go for it, mate. Go for it. Get a half decent mic. That's all you really need. Half decent mic, and you're good to go. Honestly, that's all I've got pretty much. Mic, okay PC. You don't really need much. Jay's Boxing Universe. Del Boy, are we going to get a Manny Pacquiao legacy or appreciation video? Potentially. I thought about doing those type of videos. I have thought about those type of videos, but I've never got around to making one. Maybe, potentially. I've been thinking of doing fantasy fight predictions on my channel as well. So like old school fighters, for example, James Toney versus Bernard Hopkins, thinking of fights and doing like a breakdown for them, how I think they would play out. I've been thinking of doing that on the channel for the longest, but I've not got round to it yet. AA Boxing and Blunts, do you think Joyce will fight Caballel soon or keep waiting for the WBA to sort out the 4 champion situation? I would like him to fight Caballel, AA, to be honest with you. Waiting for the WBA is risky as hell, ultimately, Can you count on those guys to get their shit together? I wouldn't want to base my career around the WBA, in all honesty. I think the Caballel fight would be great for Joe Joyce, but very risky. Very risky indeed. I'd love to see it, though. I'd love to see it. Ben Haynes. Otto Wallin was an AJ sparring partner. That's the best I can say about him, yeah. I've seen him fight against Adrian Granat. Otto Wallin's okay. He's an okay boxer, southpaw. He's about 6'5", does the basics well, but not much power. Not really that dynamic. He's going to struggle at top 15 level in the heavyweight division. He's really going to struggle. CJW, Joe Joyce is not world level. I agree. I think the Jennings fight really showed a lot of his flaws. I mean, I felt that fight was very close. I felt the Jennings fight was so much closer than the judges had it. In fact, on my scorecard, I actually had it a draw, but because of the referee's point deduction, I scored it to Bryant Jennings. I always take into account the referee's point deductions and things like that on my scorecard, even if they are bogus, like what happened against Jennings. It was a bogus points deduction, but it did happen, so I scored it. But yeah, very close fight. Very close fight. Yeah, Unrivaled, I agree. In regards to Shah's comment earlier, yeah, just talk about what you're what you're interested in. M-Star 011, Manny's run from 2006 to 2014 is the best run versus prime fighters I've ever seen. Yeah, very impressive. Very impressive. Joe Joyce is Robocop in disguise, more like Jason Voorhees without his machete. Jesus. Slow Joyce might have lost that fight. Slow Joyce. Why has it taken me that long to hear that one? I like it. Jesus. Mr. Mabu, Del, do you think Campbell has any chance against Lomachenko? I actually think he's got a shot. Stylistically, a bad matchup for Lomachenko. Maybe Campbell's range could give Lomachenko some problems, his size, but I'll be honest, man. I think Lomachenko wins that fight relatively handily and potentially stops him late on. If he stops Campbell, I believe it would be to the body, though. I think it's going to be a body shot if Campbell gets stopped. Late on body shot. Slow Joyce, I love it. But yeah, the dude would play a great Jason Voorhees or Michael Myers. The guy is as slow as molasses, honestly. He's so slow. Slow as molasses. Oh dear. Yeah, AA. Joyce really pushes his punches out. He'll get caught out in the end, yeah. He will. And his body, that Jennings fight, man. Jennings in the first round, that hook to the body really hurt Joe Joyce. He doubled over. Really hurt Joyce. You know, that Joyce fight, really showcased a few flaws in Joyce's game. Not that we didn't know that already. We all knew Joyce was there to be hit, but that really put it in perspective in regards to how flawed this guy actually is. Okay, so Copendo9 with the exclusive. A lad on Twitter at John Evans79 says Carl Frampton is out of a fight this weekend, and Macklin says he's heard it from a good source. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Disappointing, but I guess Frampton wasn't really fighting anybody any good. That Frampton card, the thing I was looking forward to was Rubeze Ramirez, his debut. Hopefully the card is still on because I really want to see how Ramirez looks. Rubeze Ramirez was a brilliant Olympian, man. Two-time Olympic gold medalist, 2012, 2016. Very good talent. Very good talent. Unrivaled boxing talk and news. I recently mentioned this, Dell. Do you think Bakole versus Mies would be a good shout? I like that fight. I really do. I think that's a really good fight. Two prospects, two guys looking to get to that next level. Really good fight. I've seen a bit of Mies. I saw his fight with Kevin Johnson and also bits of his fight with Baktov and Pianetta. The guy's quite fluid. He's got nice quick hands, nice quick feet. He's a decent athlete, but he's a bit loose. He's very loose. And I wonder against a big, strong guy like Bakole who can punch, maybe he'll come unstuck. But Milias is a decent prospect. Something different. Backmaster, Frampton should just retire. Yeah, man, I really believe Frampton's done. I think he's sticking around for one last payday. I think he's done. Yeah, unrivaled. Winner versus Hergovich. Great shout. I like that. CJW. Frampton should fight Stevenson. It's a good fight for Stevenson to build his name. I think Stevenson now would have too much for Frampton. I think Frampton's seen better days. Yeah, I agree, Backmaster. I'm taking Stevenson in that fight. And Shaw, I totally agree, yeah. Joyce would be in trouble with a good counterpuncher. Yeah, Stavern was countering him at will. That overhand right from Stavern couldn't miss. He's there to be hit, man. He really is. Yeah, that dude could get seriously hurt against someone like Wilder. Imagine Joe Joyce walking onto that right hand. That's going to be ugly. Okay, MB. Dan Raphael is saying Jason Sosa will now headline that Philly show. Okay. I like Jason Sosa. He's a good fighter. He's a good fighter. I felt he got robbed against Gamboa in his last loss. I felt Sosa clearly beat Gamboa. Okay, Coppin '09. Apparently, an ornament fell on his hand, breaking 2 bones. Didn't Carl slip in the shower to duck out of a fight before? No, his opponent slipped in the shower once. I remember that. Yeah, CJW, I agree. Wilder would knock Joe Joyce out silly. Like he'd make that dude, go to the dream world to meet Freddy Krueger. That dude will get sparked out, man. Honestly, he'll get put to sleep. Coppendo 9. Joyce's chin is on the verge of cracking, in his opinion. I think the amount of headshots this dude's been taking over the years, especially in sparring. Yeah, that's a good shout. He gets hit a lot, man. He gets hit flush as well. It's not like this guy rides the punches or takes the sting off them. He gets hit flush on a regular basis. He gets hit flush. And as Don Hearn says, imagine what someone like Povetkin would do to Joe Joyce. Those hooks. Yeah, exactly. But M-Star, you say it's going to be painful to watch. I fear for Joyce against big punchers. I agree, but we would all watch it. We would all watch it through our fingers. It's going to be much watched TV. To see Joyce in there with a massive puncher, that's going to be much must-watch TV, sorry. What about Joe Joyce versus David Price, just for banter? Why not? That'd be funny as hell. Joyce versus David Price. Let's get it. Let's get it. M-Star. He will be sent back to Hollywood for the remake of RoboCop 8. Ah, shit. Yeah, that's a good shout, Unrivaled. That's a really good shout. Joyce versus Kalnatsky. That's a good fight. That's a good fight. Stylistically, those two boys are going to beat the absolute shit out of each other. They're going to beat the absolute dog piss out of each other. Very good fight. A very good fight. Yeah, man, Frampton's done, Cop End. I think Frampton's done. Like I said, I believe he's sticking around for one last payday these days. I don't believe he can beat anybody of any consequence in that weight class anymore. I really don't. Who would you guys take in that fight, by the way? In Kalnatsky versus Joyce, who would you take in it? The Pillsbury Doughboys got Joyce's number. Yeah, that's a sick fight, though. I don't know why I never thought of that. I've never thought of that fight at all. That's a sick fight. Mr. Mabu, he's also got Kalnatsky. I would still like to see Joyce versus Chisora, in all honesty. That's a great fight as well. And listen, man, Chisora these days is punching a lot harder. He's turning over on his shots. Bruv, I'm telling you, Chisora might knock Joe Joyce out. Listen, man, Joe Joyce, he's flawed as hell. We all know that. But the guy can be involved in some super fun fights. Imagine these fights we're talking about. Joyce versus Kalnatsky, Joyce versus Chisora. You know, these are great fights. These are great fights. Don Hearn, even Takam would beat Joyce. It's a good fight. Again, I would watch it. I would watch it, no problem at all. Dubois versus Joe Joyce. Again, another beautiful fight. Unrivaled actually thinks Joyce beats Kaunatsky. Okay, I'm not sure who I would take in that fight, in all honesty. I'm not really sure. Not really sure. Both guys have great work rates, though, for heavyweights. Yeah, unrivaled. Yeah, I mean, Chisora now looks as good as he's looked for a long fucking time. He's looking quite good, man. Yo, Shah, that's a really good fight. That's an off-key fight, but a really good fight. Joe Joyce versus Rostolav Plechko. Both guys don't give a fuck about defense. Exactly. Yeah, if you guys haven't seen Rostolav Plechko, check out his highlights. The dude is 100 miles an hour. Pure aggression. The guy's not fought, though, for a little while. From what I last heard, Plechko was relocating to the US and he was looking to move down to cruiserweight. I've not heard anything since, so I'm not sure where Plechko is right now. But he's a fun fighter. He's a fun fighter. Good sparring partners, Don Hearn, particularly Carlos Takam. I think Carlos Takam would do a really good job of replicating Chisora in sparring. I think that's a really good sparring partner for Parker, preparing for Chisora. Hunter, I mean, he's a smaller, quicker heavyweight. Don't really see how he replicates Chisora, but you know, still good work, I guess. Good work. And also Guido Villanueva. Yeah, he's a decent prospect as well. Vianeo, the Italian heavyweight. He's a good prospect. Do you know what, Unrivaled, though? I mean, if you asked me a couple of years ago who wins Chisora versus Parker, I would have comfortably picked Parker. But now, I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure. Chisora's a massive prick. I've heard good things about Chisora in from like fans. I know a couple of people who have bumped into him, and apparently he was okay. But you know, it is Chisora. Maybe they caught him on a good day. maybe they caught him on a good day. Who knows? AA boxing and blunts. If Chisora beats Parker, we could get White Chisora free. You never know. You never know. I wouldn't really like to see it. In all honesty, I think that chapter's done. I'll tell you what. A fight I've always wanted to see was Povetkin versus Chisora. That'd be a great fight. Two smaller heavyweights, I guess. Aggressive. That'd be a tremendous fight, especially now with this version of Chisora. Yeah, Shah, I've heard nothing but good things about David Hay. In regards to fans, I've heard nothing but good things. The guy gets a bad rap from a lot of boxing fans, but apparently the guy's cool he's a cool dude in person. Yeah, unrivaled. If Chisora beats Parker and Povetkin KOs Huey, could be a final eliminator. Yeah, I'd love that fight. Honestly, I kind of want that to happen now. But I do like Parker though. I do like Parker. If Chisora and Parker fight, I'm going to be a neutral there. I'm going to be leaning. I'm going to be watching that fight, just enjoying it. I like both guys, but AA boxing and blunts. Chisora Povetkin is a cracker. Throw in a WBA international and an IBF intercontinental. We've got a pay-per-view fight. Yes, sir. It's a great fight though, man. It's a beautiful fight. I love it. With the heavyweight division, it's not only the top four that matter. There's some other great fights in the division to make, in my opinion. Anyway, where were we? Sorry, I had loads of things open in the background then. One second. I'm going to wrap this up in a minute. Just checking for some news before we wrap it up. Golovkin versus Derevyanchenko, formally ordered by the IBF. Good news, in my opinion. I like that fight. Derevyanchenko, certainly a top 10 middleweight. He's a fun fighter to watch. I wouldn't mind Golovkin versus Derevyanchenko. Good fight, in my opinion. Not sure how you guys feel about it, but I like the fight. Much better than the proposed Jaime Munguia fight. They was talking about that fight for Golovkin not too long ago. I like that fight, yeah. Yo, unrivaled, that whole situation with Golden Boy v IBF. It's confusing as hell. It really is. Why is Derevyanchenko mandatory? I mean, ultimately, I know he beat Cole Kai for an eliminator, but before that, he lost to Jacobs. So, how he got that eliminator is it is perplexing, but ultimately he's got it, I guess. AA Boxing and Blunts, I don't agree with the IBF stripping Canelo, though. He only won it a few months ago. Strange. Well, I saw a tweet. Who was it by? I want to say it was by old Michael Coppinger. Let me have a look. I need to go back and find it now. But he explained the situation, and basically, somebody from Golden Boy signed on Canelo's behalf that he would accept the terms of that mandatory. And basically, they never met the. Hang on, I'll try and find it. It's fucking complex. It's weird as hell. But what's his name? Michael Coppinger. Mike Coppinger. See, I don't even follow this guy. I don't really like him, but there we go. I've got to go back in his feed now. Jesus Christ. Hang on. I think I retweeted it. But yeah, it's basically the whole situation is completely fucked. And Golden Boy have pissed off old Canelo, so there we go. Okay, here's the tweet from Michael Coppinger. I'll read it as he says it. IBF rules plainly laid out ordered a fight between Canelo and Derevyanchenko. Golden Boy Promotions did not ask for an exception. Purse bid ordered. No deal by the deadline. Both sides agreed to a side deal where Canelo would be stripped if no deal by the deadline. Extended it 3 times, still no deal, so stripped. Okay, yeah. So the IBF, from their perspective, adhered to their own rules, I guess, but it's a messy situation. It really is. But yeah, if Golden Boy signed without Canelo's consent, that's fucked up. That really is fucked up. And as AA said, but yeah, AA in the chat, everybody who holds an IBF belt agrees to fight for Mando, but to call it within 100 days of winning a belt, yeah, it is strange. Yeah. Yo, what's up, Unrivaled?
Hello. Hello.
What's up, man? Good.
You can hear me, yeah?
I can hear you fine.
I know that you're wrapping it up soon. Like, that's grand. Like, contraception first, boys. That's what we teach over here on the Boys Boxing News. Let me see. But I'm not okay with him being made Mando. Even though he fought Jackal K. Jackal K is pretty much a 154 pounder. Like, he lost to Daniel Jacobs. I don't even know how he got that fight in the first place. His best win was a fucking old Torino Johnson. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he's a good fighter, but stripping Canelo because he beat Jackal K makes no sense.
I get it. No, I get it, but like, I know what you're saying, and it's not only Derevyanchenko. How did Cole Kai get that high up in the rankings?
No idea. I've no idea.
Like, he beat Craig Cunningham. That was his best win before, after his loss to Seletsky.
Yeah. So after his loss to Seletsky, he beat Cunningham. He also beat Rafael Bejerin, which gave him the vacant IBF international, didn't it? And Bejerin ain't bad. Like, he's not too much behind Craig Cunningham. So, like, but at the same point, realistically, Cole K, he really is like a super middleweight. Like, his best work was at super middleweight. He was the European champion, was an interim champion, fought against Sanders.
Yeah, 154 in it. Yeah. And Derevyanchenko lost to Jacobs and he got straight into an eliminator. Yeah, it is weird. It is weird as hell, but And
some people had Cole K beating Derevyanchenko.
It was close. It's actually a fucking good
closer,
fight.
in my opinion, than the cards. Because, like, the cards, like, 115, 113, fair enough. But 116, 112 twice?
I think I had it 7-5, by the way, to Derevyanchenko.
I had a 7-5 Derevyanchenko, 115, 113. But, like, I like him. I think he's a great fighter, but he didn't earn that.
No, I do get the I do get why people are unhappy that he got stripped. I do get it. But from Golden Boy's perspective, if they've signed that on Canelo's behalf without informing him, bro, they're in deep shit. They're in really deep shit.
Yeah, I get you.
He's pissed, Canelo. Apparently he's getting lawyered up, all sorts.
Well, look, the rules are the rules, man.
Yeah. I think the biggest issue for me is the fact what Golden Boy did. In all honesty, like, we expect the sanctioning bodies to like have some fucked up rankings, but Golden Boy can't be doing shit like that, in my opinion. No,
they can't.
And yeah, man, even Ryan Garcia's fucking chirping up. Little rent boy, isn't he? Now, that guy's chirping up as well. They can't afford to lose these guys.
What's Ryan Garcia talking about?
He's upset about the lack of promotion, and I believe he's also upset that in his last fight, his purse was $50,000 when the show generated.
He makes more off Instagram, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think his purse was like $50K when the show generated like $1 million, and he's pissed about it. So he's upset as well. Golden Boy, man, not looking good.
Was he the main event?
Was he the main event? I don't
I
think
don't
so.
think he was. Wasn't it Angel Acosta the main event?
I reckon. I think he was co-main, maybe.
I think Angel Acosta was the main event, or even Orozco was the main event.
It might have been. I don't know what it was, but yeah, he was paid like 50K, and he's not happy about it. Fucking, they're in deep shit right now. I'll be honest with you. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Golden Boy anyway, so you know it is what it is.
Alright.
Shady as fuck anyway, so we'll see how that pans out. But it's certainly interesting. It really is interesting.
Yeah. Alright, man. Well,
Bro,
I'm going to jump off. Have a good one.
I'm wrapping up, man. I'm wrapping up. Shout out to the chat for all showing out, man. Appreciate the support. Now we've got a solution to this streaming problem. We'll use this for the foreseeable long-term plan. Get a laptop or a new PC so we can use OBS. But for now, this is definitely the way forwards. So yeah, leave a feedback below. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If not, that's cool. Peace.
Peace.